All right, I'm back, everybody. Let's get into this, that.
And the other.
All right, yeah. So that was a fun time away. I was working in Asheville, North Carolina, up in the mountains, about 3 inches from the fucking sun, breaking my back every day, 12-hour days for 16 days straight. You know.
Yeah, bro. Look at your face. It says it all.
Yeah, dude. Came back with a nice little suntan, sunburn, but it was well worth it, and it was a great experience. It was awesome working out there. So I gotta shout out a few people real quick. You know, actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and shout out the entire crew, because without every single one of them, it couldn't have been done. It was fucking amazing. I got to shout out Mitch, Eric, Danny, Jonathan, Matt, Meredith, James, Alex, Mike, Carson, Rob, and Michelle. And also Thelma was holding it down in the office the whole time. Couldn't have done it without everybody. It was fucking awesome. An amazing experience. And I think in a couple months we're doing another one in Nashville, and can't wait for that one too. It's excruciating.
So explain. I think we should explain to people probably like what you were doing in Asheville.
It's kind of a weird thing, and it's not one of those things that I can't talk about. It's just one of those like, so there's this mall that's based out of Miami, and they have a traveling pop-up, and the pop-up is built out of shipping containers, and inside of these shipping containers is the storefronts, and it's like a designer name brand shit, and every location has to be torn down and then shipped to the next city. So there's a tear down crew and there's a setup crew, and I was part of the setup crew. Basically, my job was to level out all the ground with like metal shims and everything, and make sure when the shipping containers arrive, everything lands evenly, everything snaps together. You get a crane, the crane, you know, ships everything in for you. You land it, you fucking put it all together, make sure everything's right. It takes, you know, an entire day and a half out of measuring just to make sure everything's going to be level when it arrives. And then you set up the courtyard, you set up the plants, you repaint it, and you do a lot of electrical and stuff. And it's a lot of moving parts, you know, 16 days in a row, 12-hour days. It's necessary to make sure it gets done.
Brutal.
But it's awesome. It's a great experience. And also I forgot to shout out the other guy, Joey, who his name's also Joey. He's a badass fucking carpenter. I was by his side a lot, and he was amazing. Helped me through a lot of things. We had to build a whole lot more things than I thought we did. There was a lot more carpentry involved than I thought there would be. And then there was tile work. Then there was electric work. Then there was moving in big ass palm trees and all types of stuff. It was wild, but it was awesome. You know, a great experience. Sucked being away from home for that long. But you know, did what you had to do, and now I'm back.
Hell yeah. Welcome back, bro.
Yeah,
dude. Hell yeah. Glad to have you back, so I don't have to do those crazy ass intros by myself again. Yeah. Sorry for everybody for that awkward ass intro on the last episode.
Nah, dude, you did great. I listened to it while I was out there, and I was like, he's got it. You know, short and simple. That's all. See, I'm just here for the fluff. That's all. You know, it's just that's all I'm here for. But while I was out of town, so I've been talking about it since the birth of this podcast, but I didn't get to go to the Insane Clown Posse show that I bought tickets for, because the show happened while I was out of town. But I just handed over the tickets to you and Mark, and you guys got to go. And here in a couple of weeks, actually, it's going to be the 13th of June. We've decided they're playing in Birmingham, Alabama, so we're going to make the 2-hour drive to go see them and then drive back the same night. And actually, while I was out of town, they were playing in Spartanburg, South Carolina, which, if it's a nice day with no traffic and you can just drive, you can get to Spartanburg in 45 minutes from Asheville. However, when you just worked a 12-hour shift and it's already 7 o'clock at night and you got to go in and shower, and then you got to drive all the way there, and there's traffic, and then they played until after 11 o'clock, right? Yeah,
actually,
they play a really long set. And in Spartanburg, the show was going to start off with JCW Wrestling, and then two openers, and then Insane Clown Posse. So the show might have gone on until midnight, and then I would have had to driven all the way back, and like, it would have made a great story, but it just wasn't feasible. So I just had to save it for, you know, us in Alabama. But what's crazy is when we go see them in Alabama, it's actually going to be Friday the 13th. So I feel like it's going to add a whole new element to the show. So I'm really excited about that one. We're not going to miss that. But let me know what is it like being at an Insane Clown Posse show for those who have never been, myself included.
Okay, well, let's just add, I have never seen Insane Clown Posse either.
Which, after you were there, isn't it like we mentioned this the other day, isn't it kind of weird that we've just never seen them before? Because we've had several opportunities.
Yeah, no, it definitely had several opportunities, but also, let's keep in mind, I'm not the biggest ICP fan. I'm not.
You are now.
Like, okay, we'll get to that in a second. We will definitely get to that in a second. So, when we got there, I would say probably an hour before showtime. And me and Mark were like, okay, let's just go in and let's go wait in line, whatever. I'm not even exaggeration. There is no bullshit when I say this. That was the longest fucking line I have ever seen at the Masquerade. Yeah. Like, that thing was wrapped 4 times, then going
and
back.
They're early. They're early.
Early. So not even like the end of the line there was no end of the line. Like, it went through security. They were stopping people from going through security until the line died down. So me and Mark literally had to sit at security for it was probably like 20 minutes, something like that, 20, 30 minutes. Like, literally just sitting there waiting for the doors to open so the line could die down so we could just get in line. Yeah. And then once you got through security, then you have to wait through the line, go through all the stuff. But
so is it one of those things? Would you suggest okay, ICP's playing last. It's going to take us 2 hours to get inside. Let's just chill in the car. Let's just wait until this line's gone. I mean, we got tickets. Let's just chill.
I mean, yes and no, because again, like, the experience of it all, like, seeing the dedication of the fans and seeing the excitement in these fans' eyes and seeing how everybody was just so fucking ready for ICP, and everybody, even in the line, we're talking 6:15, maybe 6:30, already losing it. People going crazy. Woot woots every 5 minutes. People singing songs. Like, I mean, it was wild, dude. It was crazy. And I know a lot of bands do have a crazy following. I will say that. Like, as a person that has been to many a show in my life, I have seen some of the most dedicated fans throughout my life that I've probably seen ever. I have never experienced fans like ICP fans. Like, these motherfuckers are dedicated. They are hardcore. I don't even know how to put into words how amazing and how you just feel like I'll just go ahead and say it. You're part of the fucking family. Yeah. But it was
all good vibes, like feeling. No drama, no bullshit. Everyone was just having a good fucking time.
No, and like, when we got in, it was sold out. So we were expecting a sold out.
Was anybody giving you kind of a nod like, what the fuck are you guys doing here?
No, because I will say, as 2 very, very obviously pop punk dudes sitting in a crowd for ICP, me and Mark, I will say, we did not stand out at all.
Hell yeah.
Like, there was, I mean, every single race, every single ethnicity, every type of person, every single walk of life that you could possibly imagine was at this ICP show. I mean, there was like down to like, we'll say the backwoods dudes from God knows where, Georgia, up to like probably the frat bros from Georgia Tech.
Oh, hell yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And everywhere in between, every single person. And when we got there and we got in, me and Mark were like, okay, this is a good crowd. Like, it's getting there. And then we went outside to smoke and walked back in. And dude, the crowd had probably tripled.
Jesus Christ.
Like, the spot we were standing in, there, like, when we walked out, there wasn't many people. There was like us and probably 4 other people standing where we were standing. By the time we walked back in, there was probably 100 people where we were standing.
Damn.
And what was even crazier, and I sent you pictures of this, their merch booth, I have
dude, it's like an entire store. Like, it's not just because most bands you see, they bring like 5 shirts, a couple of hoodies, a vinyl, a few CDs. They had like an entire storefront. They had like an entire shopping center aisle of fucking merch.
Oh, dude. Easily. I mean, I can honestly say there was probably like 50 probably t-shirts, hoodies, jerseys, that kind
Were
of
they
stuff.
selling records? I
Then
didn't see any music there.
They were selling records. They were selling CDs.
Yeah.
They had hats. They had plushie dolls. They had, I mean, dude, they had backpacks. They had underwear. Like, you
They
name
had
it.
weed.
And they had fucking weed
Yeah.
at this show.
Yeah.
And here, let me add this too. I'm going to go ahead and add this note. Me and Mark picked a hell of a time to go fucking sober for this show. So I, as of right now, as we're doing this episode, as we're talking, I am on day 7 of being sober.
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and toot my own horn for that because I have steadily been smoking weed for probably the better part of 18 years
15
now.
15 to 18 years, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and nonstop.
Yeah, every day.
Like, I am a full-blown fucking pothead. I am on day 7 of sobriety now.
Mhm.
No drinking, no smoking. I am still vaping, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well, that's nicotine. That's not,
me,
you know.
me and Mark both going into this were like, bro, of all shows to go to, ICP going in sober, it was absolutely insane. So, like, seeing the ICP weed and how bad, like, I wanted to buy us some bad, dude. But so apparently one of the openers that's his weed company.
His name is like Shaggy Airhead or something like that. Like Airhead Shaggy.
So
they were
could
talking about him
remember,
on the
but-
Shaggy show the other day, and then I put 2 and 2 together because he makes a lot of their clothes now. Like all those busy designs where it's just like all over print. That's his clothing company.
So like this?
No. Like the ones that like have the image all the fuck over, like those little, you know what I'm saying? Like
Okay, yeah. I know
like the little
I know what
Hatchet
you mean.
Man entirely covering the shirt, you know? He does that. His name's like Shaggy Airhead or something like that. But I was listening to the Shaggy show the other day and he was talking about him. So that's when I put 2 and 2 together. I was like, oh, it must be his weed. But it's Delta 8, right? It's not like street weed, right?
No, bro. It is fucking weed. Like straight fucking weed. And what was even crazier, what blew my mind is like, okay, we are in a time now where marijuana is kind of like not so frowned upon nowadays. Like, you know, like who cares if you smoke weed? Yes, there are some people that are still total sticklers about it, but like most of society nowadays are pretty
And you
okay
also
with
start to learn that
right?
like more like people you didn't realize smoke weed have been smoking for like 20 years. They were just quiet about it, you know?
Exactly. But like what was wild about this is that so they literally like in the middle of this dude playing, the guy that has the company, they're straight throwing baggies of weed
Hell
out.
yeah.
Like this dude has a bag that's probably this fucking big and he's just got all like random merch from the company and all that kind of shit. And bro, he's just tossing out baggies of weed, like throwing out baggies of weed, throwing out t-shirts, throwing out hats, like all this crazy shit. They were like fucking having squirt guns and all this kind of shit.
Hell
like
yeah, dude.
he put on a hell of a show.
Did you get hit in the face with a bottle of Faygo? Because I saw that they were launching them across the entire venue.
Okay, so all right. I'll get there. Okay, so hold on a second. I got to tell you. So we didn't intend for there to be 4 openers, first of all, because I was even
that's a
texting you
long
during the
set,
show. I
dude.
was like, dude, another opener? Holy shit, another
That's
opener?
a long show.
So I think they had 4, maybe 5 openers. Pretty sure it was 4. But one of the guys was from Atlanta, which was pretty sick. But they started the set, and as they were setting up, they had it all behind a curtain, of course, you know. And me and Mark were kind of like, you could see their lights like up on the top rafters and stuff like that. So we knew there was something behind the curtain. So they dropped the curtain, and you can go on YouTube. You can see all this kind of shit on YouTube. But they literally just have barrels of Faygo. Like barrels and barrels of Faygo. And I'm not talking just like, oh, there's like 6 or 7 bottles in each. No, dude, there's like 30 fucking 2 liters sitting in these barrels. Not to mention, there's a dude that walks in and refills it the whole time.
Hell yeah.
Like anytime they get down to like 20 bottles, there's a dude that walks in with a box of Faygos. And what was even more sick about it, which I thought was fucking hilarious, and shout out Mark for being a trooper and noticing this shit. Yo, guess what kind of Faygo
It was all zero sugar.
It was fucking zero sugar cola, dude.
Yeah.
So Mark, of course, was like, "Yo, shout out for the diabetics." But anyway, it was really cool. And when it started, like, I was like, okay, they're going pretty crazy. Like, you know, they weren't like straight, like blasting bottles in the beginning.
Yeah, but was it
like,
reaching you all the way in the back?
So we ended up standing, and this is everybody listening. This is at the Masquerade in Atlanta in heaven, right? So 3 stories, 2 balconies, and then main level. And then in the pretty much the middle of the bottom level is where they do all the audio, right? Like where they have all the mixers and all that kind of shit. So leading up to ICP, I see everybody putting fucking bags over everything.
Yeah.
Everything was getting plastic wrapped. They had plastic wrap over the screens, they had plastic wrap over the monitors, they had plastic wrap over everything. Even the merch dude started putting plastic over the merch.
Oh shit.
Right? So me and Mark,
and the merch is all the way in the fucking back.
Yeah, no, like as far
as far back as you can go, pretty much.
Front door. Well, without being at the front door.
Yeah.
Like it's right there. So once me and Mark got merch, we kind of just stood off to the side and we were both like, "Oh, okay, we should be good back here." Like we might get hit, because once we saw the audio people covering everything, it was like, okay, maybe this might be a little crazy.
Well, they've done this before, so they're getting prepared. You know what I mean?
Yes. But I don't know if they were ready for the extent of what ICP was about to do. Because there was a point, they started out, and, you know, it was like probably like a bottle every minute and a half, you know, like Shaggy would grab a bottle and just like thunk, you know, things like that.
Isn't it so impressive how he holds the mic in one hand, and then with the other hand, he unscrews it and launches it with the other hand, like single-handedly.
So what's even crazier is the way these dudes have gotten so used to launching these bottles. Like, they literally shake it one time, it's ready to go. He's got his finger in the bottle and literally just like thunk, and that shit flies.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't just like boop, like it goes flying.
Like a bottle rocket.
So, and I'm talking like some of the bottles hit the ceiling.
Oh my
there was
God.
bottles bouncing off the bro. There was Faygo dripping from the fucking ceiling. Like, that's how crazy this was. So once I saw that they literally were just not giving a shit, I was like, Mark, we're going to get fucking hit, bro. Like, we are going to get fucking hit. Even standing this far back, like, we're going to get fucking hit.
And did you?
And sure as shit. Well, okay, I won't say I got hit, but the guy and his wife standing right next to me, bro, that shit came at them like a fucking cannon, dude. That shit just, and to anybody that's listening, if you've been to the Masquerade or you know the Masquerade, like, the back it's a good ways back.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you know, like you're not 20 feet.
Yeah, you probably should be out of harm's way.
It's probably a good 150
because at a gore show, you stand in the back, you're straight, you're fine. You know,
you're fine, exactly. And that was kind of my thought on it too. Is like, you know, like standing in the back at a gore show, you're good, you're solid.
Dude, I've gone to like 4 or 5 gore shows, and I've never gotten anything on me because I always stood in the back.
So that was kind of my view too. Like, that was kind of my thought too. I was like, if we stand in the back, maybe we won't get hit. So I'd say we probably made it about halfway through the show. And then I see like bottles just flying. Dude, they're launching them as far as they'll fucking go. Like trying to hit the 3rd story balcony, trying to get them to people on the 2nd story balcony. And I will say their aim is fucking impeccable. Like, they have gotten so fucking good at launching these goddamn bottles. Like, literally, they would just be like, and there it goes, right where they need it to go. And, you know, there was, of course, some like carefree shots where he would just shake and, you know, like whatever. But if he was trying to launch it, give it a few shakes, and you knew that bitch was about to go flying, like soaring. So a few times, I will say, I didn't get drenched, I didn't get soaked, but the front of my shirt definitely got wet. I definitely had some fucking cola all over my face. I had, I ended up like, because I had my, I think I had 3 shirts like on my waistband because that's my new shit now. If I buy a shirt, I just tie it around my waistband. Like all the tops of the shirts, like your shirt probably has a scent
It
of
probably
Cola
smells like
Fago
Fago.
to it. Like probably has like a Cola Fago scent.
So basically
to it.
nowhere
'Cause
safe.
I know my, like,
and that's probably why they sell. That's probably
nowhere.
why they sell fucking windbreakers there. You know, you get an ICP rain
maybe,
jacket, you're straight.
but I will say, and this is going into what you have told me, and which is very, noticeable with ICP and how much they actually do give a fuck about their fans. All of their merch, like say you like, minus the t-shirts they just give you whatever. But like, say you buy one of the jerseys or you buy the backpack or you buy whatever, they put it in a plastic bag for you.
Cool. Hell yeah.
They put it in like a little like sealable bag.
So it zips up and everything, so it won't get all fucked up.
Yeah, so your shit exactly. And when I saw that, I was like, that's some real shit. Like that's
dude, they're
dudes that know what the fuck they're
cool as
doing
fuck,
and
I
looking
don't
out
know,
for their fans.
I genuinely still don't know what got me into them. I decided to listen to them one day and I was like, you know what, this is kind of fucking tight. I like this,
Yeah.
because I reached that age where it's like I'm just gonna listen to whatever the fuck I want and I don't care what my peers think about what I listen to anymore. So it turned out that I actually like it. And it's weird because you'll start talking to people and you'll be scared to mention it. But then once you do, they're like, oh dude, ICP's fucking good. What are you talking about? They're fucking sick. Like, I think they're one of those bands that like, even if you took away the gimmick and just listened to the music's still good enough for me to go see and be into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even so, like, I will say, even like I've said, and I will continually say, I'm not the biggest ICP fan. Like, I am not. But I went to this show with the best intentions. I went with a completely positive mindset about what I was getting into. And I can say 100% without a doubt, that is probably one of the top 10 shows that I have ever been to in my
That's what I was going to
life.
ask you. I was going to ask you where you rank it if it broke into your top 10, and that's insane that it did.
Fucking incredible, dude. And that's why I think we were through like the second song and I was like, bro, I'm going with you. Like, let's go to fucking Alabama.
Yeah,
I am down. Like, let's do this shit.
Fuck yeah.
It was so much fun. The energy is so much fun.
I think Alabama might open with JCW. I'm not sure. That would be fucking tight.
If it does, that is just going to make it so much better. Putting in fucking Juggalo fucking wrestling.
I gotta find a way to meet.
I
gotta find a way to meet Violent J. I just do. I have to.
Yeah.
I have to find a way to make that happen. I just want to talk to him. If we get him on the podcast, cool, whatever. But I just want to meet, and I don't even want to. I don't even want to do the whole. Oh my god, I'm such a fan. I just want to like talk to him, and be like, yo, what's up, dude?
Yeah.
Like, tell me about life. Like, what the fuck's up, bro?
I mean, he seems like so. From you telling me to like watch his shit a bunch of times, I've finally watched a few episodes.
Oh, you watched the Bruce Brothers podcast?
Yeah. Well, like in like clips. I haven't watched an entire
dude, he's
episode.
a funny motherfucker, dude.
Clips.
And the thing is, when I hear him talk, he's just so relatable. Like he's one of us, you know?
Yes. Literally what I was about to say. Like he seems very like as big as these dudes are, because they are fucking massive. Like ICP is, I mean, you can say they're a world-renowned band, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, they're world-known. Yeah, world-renowned. Yeah, they're world-famous. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, they definitely are. And, like, the way that he just talks about shit, like, he just seems so humble about it.
It's cool that, like, things still excite him. Like, he still gets stoked on shit.
Yeah.
Like, hearing him talk about Bigfoot, like, he's stoked about Bigfoot. You know what I'm saying, dude?
Yeah. But, I mean, even so, like, there was a point, like, they give in to the show so much that there was a point where Violent J takes 2 fucking 2-liters and just literally just fucking starts pouring them on.
Oh yeah, they get more wet than anybody else in the audience, dude.
Shaggy didn't do as much, like, but Violent J straight up just was like
hell yeah,
dumping him on himself.
That's what's up.
And like at the end of the show, they literally brought every motherfucker that opened for him, every motherfucker that was doing their production, everybody that was affiliated with him. There probably had to be 25 people on that stage, just pouring Fago, dumping Fago, throwing buckets of Fago, shooting rockets into the crowd. And then turns out me and my wife have a friend that works at the Masquerade, and she posted a picture that night of what the Masquerade floor looked like.
There's probably puddles of Fago everywhere, dude.
Bro, I mean, it was like half of that floor was a puddle of Fago. And like apparently like it was like dripping into the basement and shit. But it's kind of like it kind of blew my mind because I kind of figured like because they are so about the people and the fans and like actually giving a fuck about what happens that like it kind of surprised me that they didn't have like a cleanup crew.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, that
like,
probably goes into because I think there's like insurances and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure the Masquerade has to be like, hey, if you guys come here, you got to pay a cleaning fee or some shit like that, you know? I mean, the cleaning crew, the cleaning crew is the people who work at the Masquerade getting an hourly rate to clean that shit, you know?
I mean, yes,
that's what it is.
Yes, I completely understand that, but like, I've seen some trashed ass venues after a show.
Oh, dude, I have friends that work security at the old Masquerade, and they said there was one guy I was really good friends with, and he's like, I will never work another war show, no matter what they pay me, because of how trash the place gets.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, I felt kind of sorry for the people working the Masquerade because we were sitting literally on the fence of like the audio section, like where all the audio people are. And dude, you could just see it in these motherfuckers' faces. Just like, oh my God, what is going on? What is happening? But like one dude I thought was going to have anxiety attack.
I will say this. And what I'm about to say is we're going to have to cut this short and save this for another episode because we got an interview with Jeremy Harlan from Sunmancer that we're trying to get into. And if we don't stop talking now, we're going to talk about ICP for an hour and a half and never get to it. So anyways, we got to sit down with my buddy Jeremy from Sunmancer. I met him working in the film industry. We worked on Fear Street and Stranger Things together. We became really good friends. We bonded over sports and we bonded over music. It's cool seeing what his band's doing now. Also, while I was out of town, we talked about it in the interview. He got the opportunity to play with Shadows Fall, which is fucking awesome. I wish this episode could have come out before that show, but you know, timing and everything. It's still a really good interview. And this way, you know, you guys get to learn a little bit about Jeremy from Sunmancer and make sure you guys see them when they play shows and check them out. But anyway, without further ado, here's our interview with Jeremy Harlan. All right, everybody, joining us now, we got a good friend of mine. His name's Jeremy Harlan. He plays guitar in the band Sunmancer. You may have seen their music video that just came out recently. It's fucking rad. I've always loved those, like, what is the production company that's doing it? Because I've seen all these, like, blank white rooms, the black and white videos, and, like, the hardcore bands are fucking doing their thing in these videos.
Yeah, so that's LCY Uncut, and it's this guy, Tim Carlisle. I'm pretty sure I got his last name right.
Okay.
He's kind of just like an underground hardcore dude out of Birmingham.
Okay.
And I think he started out, it was like, it was supposed to be called like LCY. LCY stands for Lawn Chair Youth. That's like the name of his like
cool.
his little promotional company or whatever. And he's got a little warehouse studio out in the middle of nowhere in Birmingham. And you go out there and it's just the big white room and you get one shot at it. And
that's it? So you're doing it live? I mean, it's not like you're playing over a track?
We are playing over a track, and you better get it right because, like in the comments, if you're missing drum fills and stuff like that, and like we can hear drum fills, and the guys just over there hitting hats and snare, people are gonna call you out. So it's a little nerve wracking in that sense, and like there's certain parts that like even I play a little different live for the song that we did. That I had to think about that before we went in there. It's like, okay, I have to play exactly the way because there's a lead on there. It's just like an atmospheric lead, but our drummer actually tracked it. And I just kind of play something a little different, like my version. But I had to make sure I wasn't doing that in the video. Like, people are going to see that shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, you get one shot at it. And, I mean, it took us like 30 minutes total. We pull up, set up all the gear. He kind of puts you in your spot. You get one warm-up take to just make sure all the shit's working. And we got click track in our ears and all that stuff.
Okay, cool.
Because we basically just use like our whole live rig. And then once you do the warm-up one, he does it, he moves around, and then he goes, puts it on his computer, it renders, he puts the name on the front, and boom, it's done.
That's wild.
That's simple, dude. I love it.
That's I remember so insane.
The first time I saw those videos, I saw Gel, And I thought that video was fucking awesome, just the energy they had in
Yep.
that. And then I found out about the band Yosemite and Black through those videos.
They blew the fuck up on that one,
dude.
yeah.
I felt awful because they're an Atlanta hardcore band, and I'm usually really good about knowing Atlanta hardcore bands. And then I see them, I'm like, who the fuck is this? This shit is fucking badass. And then I see you guys, and I was like, all right, dude, here they come. They're on the come up. They're about to fucking blow up.
That's right. Yeah, and dude, I've had so many people over the last like year. They're like, dude, you got to do an LCY uncut. You got to do it. You got to do it. And what's cool about that channel is, I mean, he's an underground hardcore dude, and I think just like out of hosting all these bands as they come through Alabama and playing in his own bands and being around the scene for so long, like he's gotten some good people to come out and do it. That
now, when people ask you that, like people ask you, like, "Oh, you need to do one." Is it kind of one of those things that, like, I would if I could, I have to be invited, or do you tell them, like, "Hey, is there a way we can do this?"
Okay, with that, it's a little different because I think we got connected to him kind of early on. Like when we got that August Burns Red tour, our first show was in Birmingham. So we were immediately like talking to people in Birmingham that knew us that were going to come out and see us. And they kept saying like, hey, we're going to get this guy Tim to come out and see you guys. He ended up not being able to make it. But so we kind of already like had a dialogue with him like pretty early. But I think that you can just hit him up and book him and he'll put you in like as he can.
Oh, okay.
But talking to him, dude, he's such a real dude. And like he'll tell you like, yeah, sometimes bands come through here and just don't know how to play their own fucking song. You know, and it's frustrating. And he'll just do the video and put it out hey, there's some videos on there like that, and if you watch, you'll see it. Everybody sees it.
Well, hey, it's disheartening when you have a favorite band of yours for like 15 years, and then you see them live, and you're like, oh, they still can't play their songs live.
Yeah, and I'm sure they get called out for it too. I'm sure they fucking people call them out for it. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, rightfully so, dude. We're buying tickets, and you know, we're hoping for a show. Like every good band should be professional enough to play their shit right. You know.
I think you should at least try, or you should just have enough like crowd interaction and energy that it doesn't fucking matter. But like either way,
there's definitely bands where you can get away with that.
To the point, yeah. Like if you suck live, I need to enjoy the show to a point where I don't even realize that you suck. You know,
right? Yeah. And dude, if you're in like a punk band or a hardcore band, or like as long as your vocalist and your drummer are on point, and everybody's got energy, like you can sell it.
You can move, yeah.
There's so many times I can't tell you how many times I've heard like live recordings of my favorite bands, and it just sounds awful. But mostly it's because of the crowd interaction. And I feel like a lot of times in hardcore, I've tried to tell people like you really shouldn't do anything in a hardcore band like on record that you can't do live because it's just gonna sound awful. But also I think that's what I've appreciated about hardcore more is like they don't overcomplicate it so that the shows can be more fun and more energetic and have like you got to be able to play this breakdown while somebody's jumping off of your fucking back. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like that's pretty standard for kind of across the board. Like, don't oversell yourself on your record to the point that when you're freaking 15 days deep on a tour that you're all tired and exhausted as fuck.
Hey, that's what
that you can't do this. I mean, even so, but still, like, no I mean, if you, but still, you should.
I don't have very many bands who are like the backing track bands, like in my rotation. I don't think I listen to very many backing track bands. And if I do, I'd be surprised.
If they're a huge band, I mean, I don't really want to say names because I could be wrong, but if they're a huge band, chances are they've got some backing tracks. Whether that's like the two guitar players are harmonizing, so they need a rhythm guitar behind it. Otherwise, like, you know, just all of the meat of the riff just goes away, and all of a sudden it's not heavy anymore. Like, just the bass guitar is not going to hold that. And then there's a lot of vocalists that'll have like vocal harmonies like piped in. Mm-hmm. I'm not a huge fan of any of that stuff, and with my band, I try not to do any of that. The only things that we've done like so far as like backing tracks is if there's like strings in the background, like we'll do it live. We'll have it go through the PA like behind us. As far as like instruments playing and vocals and stuff like that, no, I'm totally against it.
And, see,
I feel like I've. Oh, go ahead.
Well, that's where I agree with you. Like when it's this thing like strings or something, because like Under Oath did it best when they did, you know, that what was it? Go leaving your front door or something dangerous. Something you know what I'm talking about. When only chasing safety. So when they had that like choir part and everything, it's like, of course you need that fucking backing track, or it's not gonna hit the same when it's live.
It's not gonna be the same song,
Or you've got to make that part heavy as fuck on the guitars so that you feel that emotion from there. You know?
Sure.
That's literally what I was about to say. So yeah, perfect.
It'd be cool to see like a song like that, you know, where they take like a big choir part and just kind of like have just the main vocalist do it. But it changes the song, and as long as it's like, you know, they're making a conscious effort to give you like the alternate live version or something like that. Like that can be cool too.
Okay, yeah. So you and I, we met in a very, I guess it's normal ways now, but I was still very new into the film union when I met. We met on my first show. We were doing Fear Street, and we were out in Hampton in a big ass field in the middle of May with no shade. I was working on the plaster crew, and where I was plastering was about 300 yards away from where I was mixing plaster. So I lost about 13 pounds in 3 days just out there in the fucking Georgia sun. But we met through film, and I guess is it still something that's prevalent in your life? Are you still doing the film thing and trying to juggle music at the same time?
Definitely, yeah. I've got more time away from film now since Stranger Things 5 ended back in March. But yeah, I don't know, dude. I remember meeting you. I saw you and I was like, that poor bastard. They were working you to death, dude. I mean, we were all working our asses off out there, but yeah, I remember seeing you out there and you were wearing some kind of hardcore band shirt, and like I knew immediately. I'm like, okay, like I bet me and this guy could be friends or whatever. And I think I talked to you that first day that you were out there.
You did, but our first conversation,
maybe to like the end of the day.
Yeah, but our first conversation was about the Atlanta Hawks. It had nothing to do with music.
That sounds right.
It was when like we had just gotten Trae Young. We were looking at a fucking
that was draft
run.
time.
Yeah, it was draft time, and like we were all excited about that because I think everybody was dogging the whole Luka Doncic thing, and you were like, "No, dude!" Like you were like backing up Trae, and then I joined in because we were talking to Travis because Travis was the only one who gave a fuck about basketball besides us.
And he's like doing mock drafts and shit all week.
Yeah.
Like,
I heard you talking about how Trae Young's going to be just fine. And then I joined in the conversation. And then from there, we were like, oh, you like sports and we like the same music? All right, cool. We're good.
And you and me, like, unfortunately, there's not enough guys around Atlanta that are like Atlanta sports guys.
Yeah.
So many guys that love sports, but they don't love the home team because they're fucking cowards.
Or you just get nothing but UGA fans,
Yeah, that too. Yeah, you get nothing but dog fans. They don't. And yeah, you want to talk to them about the Falcon. You want to talk about big boy football, and they're like, oh no, I only watch college
football.
Oh yeah, those guys in the NFL, they're just overpaid. It's like, no, dude, they're twice these guys' age, and they're faster and bigger and meaner.
They deserve
and
more money.
Up,
Yeah, exactly.
And on top of that,
beating the shit out of each other.
What are they gonna do 5 years from now? Like these guys are younger than me, but they've been playing football as long as they've been alive. Like their knees, their tendons, everything have that much wear and tear on them, and they're going to be retired and not able to play by the age of 33. Like, what the fuck else are they going to do?
Yeah,
with the rest
exactly.
of their
It's like
life?
not everybody's going to have, not everyone's going to have a career like Matt Ryan, where you're there for 15 years.
Yeah, or Tom Brady, where you're 50
Tom Brady
and you
there for,
retire.
Yeah, you're there for 20 years. Like, there's so many players, and not just football, especially. But
Tom Brady only got to play that long because nobody was allowed to touch him. So
yeah, well, we can get into that later. we can get into that whenever you want.
But yeah, people always have that argument that like athletes are overpaid and teachers and shit need to get paid. And I agree that teachers need to get paid more, but also show me a teacher that can sell out a stadium, and can sell out an
exactly.
arena.
Here's the thing, man. Teachers, it's a government job, and if we gave the teachers the money that we're giving the fucking NFL players, like what money would be left? There's way more teachers than there are NFL players. Am I wrong about that?
And my wife's
Y'all
a teacher.
Look that up?
My wife's a teacher, and I feel like she is severely underpaid. But at the same time, like until she gets endorsed by Nike and has Arthur Blank backing her, you're not going to get paid what these guys get paid.
There you go. Go get you a shoe deal. Okay, like these young kids are doing.
Yeah,
dude.
They can do it. You can do it.
Be sponsored by Nike or Adidas.
We got the Miss Webb Air Force Ones.
There we go.
The new style.
There we go, dude.
This October. Yeah.
There we go.
The K1s, dude.
You know what? If Nike really wanted to do some good branding, they would find like teachers of the year, like in the region, and like give them endorsements and shoe deals and stuff. Dude, come on. What are you doing, Nike?
Dude.
What are you doing, Nike?
That'd be sick.
Yeah,
I think they should do that for just like every job. It should be a different job every year. It shouldn't always be teachers. Like one year, it's like the garbage man.
Yeah, the garbage man.
I'm just gonna pick one really good garbage man.
Who's the best sanitation expert in the country? He gets a shoe
and they only
deal,
make the shoe for 1 year.
Yeah, the waste management twos, baby.
Dude,
and
then
just
you'll
a
get
big rubber boot.
it's just a rain boot.
Or it's just like it's a pair of Crocs with like a fucking garbage pickup on it,
Dude,
Sick.
no, you can't do Crocs behind the garbage truck, man. Everybody knows
No,
that.
hell
Dude,
no.
I don't
You'd
know.
be crushed.
Ian is a Croc fan through and through, so
I mean, there's literally some like right there.
Nice.
You
But
you
anyway.
wouldn't wear those.
Bought a pair
You
of
wouldn't wear
Crocs
those to a
like
fucking
2 days ago.
landfill, would you?
Yeah. No, hell no.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell no. Fuck no. I mean, I wore Crocs working in a brewery for a while, and I probably shouldn't have
Nice.
been. But
Yeah.
that's such a hard word to say.
Brewery. Hey, dude, I'm working part-time down at the brewery right now, down in Stone Mountain, and it's an amazing time.
Yeah,
But I don't have to make the beers. All I do is pour the beers and talk shit behind the bar.
Yeah, I was talking to you about that too, man.
Cooking like a pop-up thing out of a brewery, and it was so easy and chill.
Because outside of film and roofing, which I do now, like fucking all I've ever worked at is in restaurants, and I know that you had experience with that, and it's a good thing to funnel back and forth with, when you're in between film jobs, but also like it just sucks when you get older and you realize like the jobs you truly enjoy and have fun with to a certain extent just don't pay you what you need to survive when you're a grown adult, and it fucking sucks. Yeah,
no, dude. And I whenever somebody asks me to like, cause dude, I'm having so much fun like bartending up there. And to me, it's like, it's more of just something to do with my time. It makes me a little bit of money, but it's really just to make sure that my money doesn't disappear and just fully go away with me sitting on my ass, like waiting on another gig. But, I don't know. Like, I don't expect them to pay me more because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, if it was fun, we'd be paying them, is usually how I feel. Like, whenever I'm getting rained on at the construction site or some bullshit like that, that's the way I think about it. So, yeah, unfortunately, all the fun jobs don't pay you as much. But, dude, if it paid me more, I would stick to doing this because, like, I love just – and at that little brewery, it's like in the middle of the Stone Mountain Village. And so you get, like, the same people come in, like, almost every day. Mm-hmm. And so I know these folks now, and they know me, and my wife will come up there and drink. They know her. Some of my bandmates come up and hang. They know them. So it's like I'm kind of and I've lived over in Stone Mountain for the last like 5 years, but I'd never like met anyone that lives anywhere near me. But now I know like a ton of people like in the community. Nice. And just having that, like I feel a lot more like pride about like where I live, and I care about like where I live a lot more. Mm-hmm. I know what's going on
where
around
you
town.
work probably now too.
Oh, totally, man, totally. Yeah. And it's just cool, like just having a little neighborhood hang and watering hole. Last week we had live wrestling up there in the parking lot, which was fucking insane. I mean, dude, you couldn't walk in the place, you couldn't walk outside the place. It was so busy.
That's awesome.
But they had like storylines and rivalries, and
was it Dirty South wrestling by chance?
I don't remember, man, and it sucks that I'm on the podcast. And I
Did
can't
you grow up a wrestling?
It's all good.
Like, were you into wrestling growing up?
Oh fuck yeah, dude! I grew up WWF mainly. Now I knew Goldberg and Sting and those guys, but I grew up Stone Cold, baby. Yeah. Stone Cold, The Rock, Undertaker, Kane,
that was
China, Triple H, Shawn Michaels,
all the good ones, dude. Yeah, dude,
those
I was obsessed with Shawn Michaels when I was a fucking kid.
Oh, me too, man. Me too.
But yeah, so we're going to circle back to sports in a little bit. But before we get there, let's talk about another thing we had in common. We both grew up in similar hardcore scenes. You grew up on the Henry County side of things, where I was never fully into. My band played there a few times, but we were more on like, the Clayton County and Fayette County side.
Clayco, baby.
But growing up there, it still had this thing that like every local hardcore scene has, and the biggest venues to play were always churches. I remember Murdoch's very first show was at Community Bible Center, which somehow became a fucking hardcore venue that just happened to be a church. So it's always kind of astonished me how these local hardcore scenes always have churches that turn into the venue. But also we can talk a little bit about like what it was like growing up in because we refer to it as the hardcore scene, and then you're going to have hardcore purists that don't call it hardcore, because we grew up in the weird time where hardcore and emo and screamo were all in one scene, and you had the kids with the teased
metal
hair.
and metalcore and
metalcore,
deathcore came along. Whitechapel Kids came along after that,
and it was all mixed in one thing, and it was all just called hardcore because I guess we didn't know what else to call it. But then you'd have the hardcore purists who were like the Agnostic Front and Madball kids who were just like, this isn't fucking hardcore. But then you'd see everyone else call it that. It was just a clusterfuck of. And I wouldn't even say that we got along, because a lot of the hardcore kids hated the fucking metal kids back then. And then you'd also have the kids that like, I don't know where the fuck you're wearing the tightest jeans, the fucking teased hair, the shirt that shows your belly button, but the guy next to you in the same band as you is wearing the fucking camouflage cargo shorts with the fucking Air Force Maxes on and shit. It's like, it was just a weird thing. But like growing up there was interesting in itself. If you want to talk about that a little bit, how did you get into it?
Totally, dude. Yeah. So, the Henry County hardcore scene. Yeah, I got into it. Just grew up, wanting to play guitar. Started playing as like a young teenager, and my best friend picked up the bass, and we learned guitar together. Started learning Metallica, Pantera, anything we can kind of, and even like the rock classics and all that stuff as we were getting started. And then he and I were kind of a team. And then when we got to high school, and you start playing guitar in front of people like guitar club and stuff, people are like, oh, who's this fucking guy? Like, oh, this dude can play. I'm a drummer. Let's start playing with you. We started our first band, and that's kind of how I got introduced to it. I wasn't going to shows until I started playing shows. So when I was like 16, started playing with my first band, and I had never seen moshing like that before. Like, I'd never been to one of these church shows and kids, kicking over their heads and all that crazy wild, shit, and the crowd killing and all that stuff. And you're talking 100 kids packed into like a small chapel, like not this wasn't even like the big churches yet.
Yeah.
It'd be like Turning Point Church in McDonough. I don't know.
That and like what are those American Legions? We'd always play those.
American Legions were there for a while. Yeah. But the American Legions were kind of like, that's where you would have those shows until like the church circuit, so to speak, came around. But you're talking about like the metal kids and the hardcore kids like not getting along. Like, I feel like, so I was a metal kid. I looked like this, I had long hair and all that, and all the like, as you got into the hardcore scene and you saw like how people really wanted to mosh and stuff, like it changed like me, like being in a metal band, saying like, okay, we need to write parts for these kids.
Yeah. Like,
I need to start listening to more hardcore. I need some like two-stepping parts. I need some more breakdowns. Like, I need things that are going to like make this show pop off. So I think that like just having that, like that divide kind of brought it together eventually, because then we started getting more like, and not just my band, but every band probably saw this. Just like, you want to get the hardcore kids more involved. And I've always said this, and like now that I'm playing in a band again, and we've done the big shows, we've also had to do a lot of like the local scene stuff. And now that we're in our 30s, like I'm seeing it again, and I'm seeing it in different towns. The hardcore, like the traditional hardcore bands, have a much better DIY scene and DIY environment. Like, if you have 4, let's say, local headliner level metal bands all on the same bill in a random town, you might get a good show.
Yeah.
If you have 4 local headliner level hardcore bands at a random show
with only 20 people that show up.
No, I'm not. No.
No, I'm saying like they can have the energy of a fucking incredible show talking with just 20 people.
I'm talking about the draw.
Okay.
With the hardcore bands, you're going to get at least twice as many people coming out to that than for the metal shows, because metal's just more of a like, it's hard to do that on the grassroots level. It's hard to like bring them the real metal show at, a fucking hair salon or something.
That's true. Yeah.
Whereas if you do a hardcore show at a hair salon, like people are knocking over fucking shampoo bowls and you know what I mean? Like, it's fucking crazy.
Your hair salon is going to be
fucking
wrecked.
Legendary, right?
No, but
so
that's what
there's
I'm
something
saying.
to be said about that. And I think that like being in a metal band and coming up through that scene, like you kind of want to transform your sound to bring more of the DIY hardcore kids to come out and appreciate you.
Yeah.
And I kind of try and sell it that way with Sunmancer now, like as more of a metal band or a metalcore band. Like I don't want to be on bills with just metal bands. Like the bills that we're on, where there's like, we're the only metal band and it's all hardcore bands and it's all fucking crowd killing, we kill it. It's great. Like, they bring the most people. Those people come out to get crazy. Yeah. They're not coming out to just listen to the songs and sing the words and all that shit. And look, I love those people too. And I want more of those people at my show.
Yeah.
But if we're just like taking a chance on driving 6 hours out of Atlanta to go play like with bands that, haven't really left their town, hopefully it's going to be some DIY hardcore shit.
And I think it's starting to catch on in the metal scene, because all of a sudden you see bands like Cannibal Corpse and Terror doing shit together. Fucking, you see Dying Fetus playing fucking hardcore festivals, and the hardcore kids are
Dying
going
Fetus has always crushed it in front of a hardcore crowd.
And that's
they
what I'm
always
saying.
Have.
And you see the hardcore kids go insane from them. And it's not that the hardcore kids don't love metal. Like, Cannibal Corpse is one of my favorite bands ever. Dude, like 3 years ago when we did the Spotify Rewind, I was in the top 2% of listeners of Cannibal Corpse in the fucking world.
I remember that,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure
that
I
was
showed
their
it to you
newest
because I was
album,
proud
right?
of myself.
Yeah, that's right. We talked about this.
No, and it's like, I love Cannibal, but it's like, as a
hilarious.
hardcore kid, I always felt out of place at metal shows. I'll never forget, I went to go see Cannibal Corpse and Obituary and a few other guys, and this was probably like 10 years ago, but I was on the way to the restroom, and there was this flyer on the side, and this guy was pointing it out to his friend, and Immortal was playing, and he's like, "Oh, sick, Immortal." I was like, "Dude, I fucking love Immortal." And he looked at me. all weird because he was like this greasy dude with long hair and fucking like, metal as fuck. And I'm a hardcore kid, dressed the part of a hardcore kid at the time. And he just looked at me. He's like, do you even know who they fucking are? And I was like, dude, there's no need for that. Like in this scene, like, and that's why I always felt so alienated at the like actual metal shows, being into stuff just behind hardcore. But, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot more gatekeeping in the actual metal community than there is in the hardcore community. Because I get stoked when I can show hardcore bands to my friends, but there's a lot of like the metal guys who like they don't want you in their circle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I feel like that's more of like an old school mentality, and it's a lot of like older dudes that are that way. But like people that grew up in our generation, Joey, like because of what we saw in our scenes and like seeing the two genres kind of meld together. I think, like, like me, like I'm clearly a metal dude, but I've never anybody that wants to get into any kind of heavy music, I'm excited about.
Yeah, exactly.
Whether that's they're into Sleep Token, or if they're into Have Heart, or if they're into Cradle of Filth. Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like,
I love all three of those bands. We were just talking last night.
Literally last night.
Nice.
Yeah.
We were just talking last night about how like I didn't think I would and I didn't want to either, but dude, something about Sleep Token just grew on me, and now I think that band is incredible.
I appreciate everything they do, and I haven't like listened to their stuff enough to say if I like it or not. But what I do know about them is that I think it was either 2023 or 2024. I think it was 2023. They showed the stats for how many streams on Spotify for metal bands, and one band beat Metallica, and it was Sleep Token.
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, dude.
So that definitely made me go, oh shit,
That's crazy.
they're doing something.
They're really good.
I
They're
think-
kind of. Go ahead.
I think a lot of what you were talking about a minute ago about like how, like hardcore people or hardcore kids, whatever, are a lot more open to like sharing music and all that kind of stuff, as well as metalheads. Like, I agree, because I think we grew up in a different generation. Like, we grew up in the like mixtape generation or mixed CD generation.
Yeah.
So like when we were trying to show music to our friends, I don't know about you guys, but my mixtapes would have all sorts of shit.
Yeah.
Like it would literally have fucking everything. Like it
We
would have
also
some
grew up
pop
in the
punk, it
free
would have some
sampler
metal,
days.
like that too. Yeah. And I mean, we also grew up in the download age, so like, so there's that. So like, I think it ties into a lot of our generation being the people that, oh shit, I just heard this music, I got to tell a homie about it.
Yeah.
Or like, you got to share it around. You got to tell people that like, oh, dude, check this band up. Like, they might be coming up. Like, like, check them out. Listen out.
Right. Yeah, and speaking of, that's why I appreciated samplers so much back in the day, because I would always try to seek out the samplers from the music festivals rather than just from the record labels, because that way,
the
like,
Ozfest CD,
the
Headbangers
Ozfest
Ball,
are the fucking Sounds of the Underground, where hardcore and
Warped
metal
Tour
bands are
samplers.
playing. The Warped Tour samplers are the New England Metal and Hardcore Fest samplers. That way, and I think it's because we grew up. Like, I clearly remember seeing like Unearthed playing with hardcore bands, and that was like a big deal that this metal band was branching out. And then I'm going to get to it, because me and you have pretty much the same favorite band when I'm about to say this, but the band who really bridged the gap between metal and hardcore, especially in their live performances, was Every Time I Die. And nobody did it fucking better than them. When you would hear their album, be like, all right, this is kind of rocky, kind of metal. It has a little bit of hardcore. There's some breakdowns. You go to their show, it's a hardcore show. And there's no other way to explain it. Like, that is a hardcore show.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they're also like, I remember when they popped up on fucking Guitar Hero, dude.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, with the New Black or whatever. But yeah, when I first heard them, the Hot Damn stuff, I was like, whoa, this is like high energy.
It was almost
like,
too
punk
energetic
hardcore,
for me.
Like,
I was like, what the
me
fuck
too.
is this, dude?
It wasn't until the next record that I started going like, huh, like these are actually really fucking good songs, as well as like being that high energy, like, punk shit.
And then by the time they got to Big Dirty, I was like, all right, they've got the method down. Like, they know what the fuck they're doing.
Everything after the New Black is or Gutter Phenomenon is absolutely phenomenal. Every single record.
Absolutely. So yeah, let's talk about how Sunmancer start. I know that you were in bands before Sunmancer. Yep. Sunmancer is your most recent one. It's picking up a lot of traction. You got a very exciting show coming up that coming up at 529 that I would love for you to tell us about and how that came to be. But yeah.
Okay, yeah. I'll start with the band first. So, so back in 2022, I think, I got a random text from a drummer that I used to play with, played in my old band Faith and Ruin, and was saying he and I hadn't played together in a couple years, and he was living out in Alabama, and he just hit me up with this group text, and he was like, "Hey, I'm starting this group text to talk about music. This is my friend Jeremy." He was like introducing me to the other two guys in the group text, but I just saw like random numbers. This is out of the blue. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
And it happened to be my bandmates now, Kyle and Justin Maslick. They used to be in a band called Broadcast the Nightmare back in the day, which is an old Sumerian Records band. And they toured with, all the guys back then. Did, Carnifex and Ghost Inside, After the Burial, like all these guys.
Sumerian was big for a while.
Oh yeah, well, and they still are. They're kind of on a different path, I guess I should say. But anyways, so got in that group text with them, started talking about writing songs, and Kyle sent me, the guitar player. He sent me a couple of his songs that he'd already written, but they were just guitar tabs. So without like any context of like what it's going to sound like with like metal drums or anything. So I had a decent recording rig and went ahead and learned his songs, recorded them myself, all the guitar parts, programmed drums, sent it back to them. It was just like, hey, this is what this potential band idea would sound like. And we just kind of started going from there. Then he starts writing more shit, and I started writing more shit, and we ended up didn't stick with the drummer that actually got us together, but when we went in to record, I went to my buddy Patrick Snyder, who at the time was, the best drummer that I knew and the best recording guy that I knew. And he didn't want to join the band, but he did want to get involved with like producing the band and recording us and giving us everything that we needed, which was really cool. And I just went ahead and made that first record, and then spent a whole year getting music videos and photos and stuff, because just like in the past, I've noticed like going the local band route and just like, hey, we're going to play our first show before any songs come out. Like that kind of shit didn't work for me.
Yeah, I never liked that either.
Yeah, so what I decided to do was with this band, like since we were starting absolutely fresh, it was let's make sure that when we hit the scene, we look like we've been here for 10 years. Like we want to look like a professional band. We want people to know like, and we've gotten a lot of like comments like, oh, are you guys an industry plant or whatever? Because like we popped up with all the recordings and videos and all that stuff. And yeah, which no, motherfucker, it's just hard work.
Right,
But,
right.
yeah.
Like, holy shit, you guys actually did something.
Yeah, exactly. So we did all that stuff. Sorry guys, my cat's.
No, dude, you're totally fine.
Come on, man.
Huge cat dude here.
Right
So
now.
when the cat popped up, I was like, fuck yeah, cat on the
He's
screen.
not done, man. He's not done, I promise you. Yeah.
I understand why people would say that, because like you'd be surprised that it's not just in pop music. Like there's industry plants in all genres of music.
Totally.
Oh,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we did pop up, it was the day before our first song came out, and all we had was like an Instagram page with like a photo, and then the next day we were gonna launch, and we were start putting out the videos and putting out the guitar playthroughs and all that shit, and so our guitar player Kyle, they used to tour with August Burns Red, and Kyle and JB, the guitar player for ABR, they've always been tight, but they hadn't talked to each other in like 5-10 years or something like that. And Kyle's like getting drunk and getting excited about the song coming out at midnight, and he's like, I'm gonna text JB right now and tell him to check us out. I'm like, don't do it, dude. Do not do that. That's not a good idea. And he's like, sorry, I already did it.
Oh,
And then next morning, I look at my phone, and August Burns Red's following us. They're commenting on all of our shit. He's talking about how much he loves it, and invites us to come out to their show like the next month or whatever. And so we go out to the show in Atlanta, Masquerade, and completely packed out heaven. And JB comes out like wearing our shirt, which blew me the fuck away. Like we'd been out for like 3 weeks
how'd you
at a
get
time.
it so fast?
He asked us to bring it to the show for him.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
hell yeah.
And then we go backstage, we're talking with him, and he starts talking to us about like wanting to get us on a show with him. And he's like, but it can't be your first show. And we're like, no, it wouldn't be our first show. So we did our first show. We just booked a show up in Gainesville at this place called Blackstrap Rock Hall. I don't know if you guys have been there. It was a great little venue, super small, but we sold it out and played well. And we got the offer to do the run with them, which really kicked shit into gear. It was like, okay, we look professional online, but like we got to get the professional live rig. We have to get everything that we need. In-ear monitors, do all of our own mixing, all that shit. And that really just kind of like, it kind of forced us to become actually professional instead of just looking professional.
Yeah.
Went and did the tour and, had time of my life, dude. Girls singing the words like in the front row and signing titties after the show and all that shit.
Yeah. Every boy's dream, dude.
Dude, it was incredible. As soon as it happened, I was just like talking to some fans, like around the merch table, and they're telling me about their favorite bands they've seen at this venue and all that stuff. And then our bass player Dan comes up to me, taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Hey man, we got somebody over here who wants you to sign something." I'm like, "Okay, yeah." And I'm telling him like, "Sorry guys, I'll be right back." And I walk over there. I'm like, "What am I signing?" And I'm thinking like T-shirt or something. And there she is, dude. And just Sharpie marks all over her.
Oh my God.
And I was like, okay. But right after that, first thing I did, I pulled up my phone and I text my wife. I'm like, you won't believe what just happened. It finally happened.
Did you take a picture and be like, here, look, babe?
No, well, we did take a picture. We did take a picture with her, but she never sent it to us. So,
okay.
Yeah. But
Probably-
yeah, we took a
probably
picture of
good.
her, like her friends, and I think she had like her niece there or something. But
Oh my God.
yeah.
Great role model.
I know, right? But yeah, so we did all that, and then we spent the next year, like once we got that momentum after that tour, it was like, okay, now we have to put out more songs, because the other part of the game is it's not just like playing the shows and having people come out to the shows. It's getting your Spotify going, and if you put out something on day one, you put out, let's say 6 songs or whatever, and that's it, then you'll get all that momentum on the Spotify graph and then drop.
And then plummet. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we avoid that? Because once you do that, the algorithm gods, forsake you, and they'll
Throw
never
you in
look
the
at you
back.
again.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay, we got to start putting out songs. So we put out a song, we put out a cool video, and that gets us some momentum. It's like, all right, what are we doing next? All right, we got to put out another song. Okay, well, shouldn't these songs all be on the same record? Yeah. So how do we pull that off? Like now we're putting out a record that we haven't even written yet.
Yeah.
Like 2 songs are already out. And the biggest challenge is how do we get those recordings to sound the same as what we're going to record 2 months from now? So that was a huge pain in the ass. Our drummer, who for the first year he wasn't in the band. We had another guy, and when it was time, when he was ready to join, which thank God he did, because we would have not been able to do this without him. He was going. We had tours booked, and have to record this record, and clock's ticking. Because if the Spotify thing drops off, we're fucked.
Yeah.
We got to start all over, basically.
Yeah.
And so we put together the songs and we record them one by one, but it'd be like he'd set up his drum kit, record live drums in the room, mark the floor with gaff tape of where every cymbal stand is, and then take it up, go on tour, use that drum kit on tour, come back, set everything back up, record the next song. Dude, we did this over and over and over again. And listening to it, you wouldn't know. But it was an absolute fucking nightmare, like making this record.
That's
and like
insane.
And it's all because like we put out that first song and we started the clock, and it's like now we're in this big rush. So now what we did is, we put out the new EP, Everything Falls Apart, back in January, and immediately started writing it. And we pulled up every piece of material that we've recorded. Like sometimes I'll record like a minute and 40 seconds of a song idea. And it's like, it's not a full song idea. And I kind of get burnt out and I kind of run out of gas on it. So it'll just kind of go in the bank. And our guitar player will do that, and our drummer will do that, and our bass player will do that. And so we have all this material. So we started just busting it out. And like, how many songs can we make out of this? And so we get up to like 6 songs. It's like, okay, all right, now we can kind of relax. We got time, like with how the record's doing right now. And let's get everything in order and everything in a row and go and sit down and record it. And we're trying to do it full length. And right now we're in a good spot, but we're just never going to do it that way again.
Weren't you lesson the first time?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, you learn that all that hard work pays off, because look at you now. You got a show at 529 coming up with Shadows Fall, which is going to be amazing for you guys.
Yeah.
How did that happen exactly? Because I know that when the show happens, they'll currently be on a tour and then take a day off to come play with you guys and then jump back on the same tour that they're on.
Right. So Shadows Fall, for instance, is on the Kill Switch tour right now. Or I don't know if they're on right now or if they're going to be on.
It starts on Saturday.
Okay, so they're about to start it. So they got a day off where they're coming through Atlanta, and they're going to play a small club headliner And at the time, they had only had one band booked on it, the other band, Prime Mover, and they're local, been around for a long time. But we had a local headliner at 529 booked while that show was just kind of still floating around, and we killed it. It was a great show, packed the place out, had our light show. Our guitar player, Kyle, he's become like his own LD. Like he's figured out how to run the light show and has programmed the whole light show. Man, we set it up at 529. It looked like we brought the fucking arena act to the club.
That's amazing. Hell yeah.
So, and so the promoter, as soon as we were done, he was like, hey, I got the Shadows Fall show for you if you want to do it. And we're like, okay, yeah, definitely. So they hit him up,
what's up, dude?
And got it approved by Shadows Fall's management.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
No,
And,
Like,
got it approved by the Shadows Fall management. And so, yeah, now we're going to do that. Which
Shadows
is going to
Fall
be
is
crazy.
one of those bands like Unearth and Lamb of God. They're just like timeless. Like they'll always be good. They'll always put out solid music. You always want to go see them live. You may think in your back of your head like, oh, God, those guys are old as dirt. And then you go see them and you're like, oh, well, they still fucking got it. They still fucking bring it.
Yeah.
It's badass.
Yeah, dude. Oh, yeah.
And I love when big bands play small venues. Dude, like that's one of my favorite things in the fucking world. When bands go out of their way to be like, no, we're not doing arenas this time. We're doing a small club. It's going to be intimate. It's going to be fun. People are going to get their teeth knocked out. It's going to be fucking badass,
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you got to keep it where, like, you don't do it often, you know?
Yeah,
like we're gonna open for Kill Switch, and then every now and then, if you want to come hear us play for an hour at a small club, like you better catch us, while we're there, because it may not happen again. Like they may never play a club in Atlanta again. They might just keep opening for guys like Kill Switch.
And see, we also unintentionally did something because we had Daniel from Fit for a King on here. He's doing this tour with Kill Switch and Shadows Fall, and then Shadows Fall is jumping off the tour for a day to play with you guys. And then last night we interviewed Anthony Nardone, who knows somebody in your band or used to make music with them.
He knows me and my drummer.
So it's funny how all three of our most recent guests are very connected to each other, and it was not intentional at all.
So sick.
Yeah, I've known Nardone for a long time, dude. From playing shows, he was playing in Face All Fears back in the day, and he was the man for that band. I mean, I think he was the guitar player when I first met him, but then eventually he just said, "Fuck it, I'm taking over as frontman."
Oh yeah, he told us a story about that last night.
Yeah, and then he started playing with my current drummer Pat Snyder doing Hollower. I'm sure he talked about that.
Yeah,
exactly.
I hope he did, because Hollower's the shit. But
he did.
Yeah, and now he's doing Mostly Okay, which dude, he's got it going now. It's heating up.
So we don't have a guest lined up after you, but I'm wondering how they'll somehow know who you are, and we can probably keep this
let's
thing
see.
going,
Yeah, we got to bring somebody in that's like somehow known any of these three dudes.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we'll just get Costa on here.
But like weirdly no, like not intentionally no.
Yeah.
Right. No, that's cool. Yeah, you mentioned earlier that you had you said Mostly Okay was on there, and I was like, oh, I don't even know if he knows that I know him.
No, it's wild. It's just such a small
He actually
world.
did. He actually did. When I was in Faith and Ruin, he did our music video. Nardone did.
Sick. Yeah.
Filmed it in the
Hell yeah.
basement, had the fog machine going, lights, all that shit. He did a fucking great job.
That's
Hell yeah.
awesome. Hell
Actually,
yeah.
I guess I could keep this chain going because Daniel from Fit for a King knows Joseph, who we had on here. Joseph knows Josh, who we had on here.
You talking about Joseph Calera?
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
so I know him too. Yeah,
Exactly. See, dude?
See,
Yeah.
here we
It's such a
go.
small
Let's
world.
keep it rolling.
yeah, and Joseph's killing it too.
Yeah, Joseph's killing it.
Joseph's
Loved Up
crushing
and
it.
Faytooth are both great. I hit Joseph up recently. We're gonna have him on the show again.
Nice.
Faytooth is fucking sick. I don't know if you've checked them out. Loved Up's doing
No,
their
not
thing.
yet.
But yeah, dude, he's having a blast out there in LA, and I'm so fucking happy for him.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, and it's cool. Like, I mean, a couple guys we just mentioned, like, we're all just Henry County dudes that it just never stopped doing music, and like now things are starting to pan out for all of us.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of my lifelong friends are also lifelong musicians, so it does make having a podcast very easy to reach out and get guests for. So
That does help. That definitely helps.
But yeah, so this wouldn't be a proper interview for you and I if we did not touch base on the Atlanta Falcons.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, and I can get your full hot take, your full opinion on this. What does it take to get the Falcons back over 500 and be a playoff team? And what in the world are we going to do with this purgatory that Kirk Cousins is putting us in?
All right, I'm going to hit Kirk Cousins first because I honestly think that this is a situation that's been completely overblown. If you remember last year when we drafted Penix, it was 28-3 all over again. Like we're always in the news about something that, they all are laughing at us about how stupid it was that we drafted a quarterback after we just paid Kirk Cousins all this money.
Yeah, but then look what Penix did when we
Look what
played him.
happened.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins got injured. He went to shit. Look, he had like 4 or 5 games where he looked like, okay, this is good. But I also like had this in my head where I didn't expect him to be any better than that.
So
and it wasn't
our
amazing.
producer Tyler is from Minnesota, and he's a diehard Vikings fan. And when we got Cousins, he's like, "Yeah, he's going to be great for half the year. Just you wait and see." And sure as shit.
And look, we signed him off of a year where he tore his ACL halfway through the year, and it looked like the best year of his career.
Yeah.
So, but again, that's only half a season that he was good. So to your friend's point, but you see what happened with the quarterback situation. And how, thank God we drafted Penix, and boy, do we look smart now.
Exactly.
Because that didn't work out. The other thing is the Kirk Cousins deal, it's not that crazy. First of all, it's Arthur Blank's wallet, which I personally don't give a fuck about. He can afford it.
I don't think he does either.
Yeah.
He doesn't sign deals like this without saying that money's gone the second that they sign it.
Yeah.
No matter what happens with it, that money's gone. And he's going to make it back. He always has. So he's not hurting for it. The cap hit this year hurts us a little bit. But
and
next
that's
year
more
it
or
won't.
less where I was going with it.
Yeah.
Because I know that Cousins has been adamant where he doesn't want to be anywhere that he's not going to be a starter. And I don't see him starting over Penix this season.
No, I don't either. No, the only way that he starts with the Falcons is if Penix gets injured, and I hope to God that doesn't happen.
Oh, me too. Jesus Christ.
But yeah, so I think the Kirk Cousins thing will solve itself whether he sits and we end up needing him. Or someone's going to be desperate for a quarterback at some point next year.
Yeah, and that's what I'm banking on. And we have what? We have until June to figure out the trade with him.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, or we just eat a little bit more money, and it sounds like it sounds like the front office is willing to eat it.
Yeah.
Which, look, if they're willing to eat it, fine. Look at what we did in the draft. And this is what ultimately I think is going to get us over 500, like you originally asked. Instead of doing what the Falcons always do when it comes to defense, is they go out and they get the old guy who's washed, and we get him on the last year of his career.
Yes.
He couldn't get a good extension with the team that just got rid of him.
We had this conversation ad nauseum earlier this season about how we got Judon and about how we got Justin Simmons, how we get
it's
all
always
these big
somebody,
name
dude.
players. It's always these big name players. It's Calais Campbell. It's somebody who 5 years ago was a fucking star
Dwight
in Pro
Freeney.
Bowl.
Remember that?
Dwight Freeney. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even who was the quarterback? It was in the 90s, but the quarterback Eric Dickerson. We got Eric Dickerson. What did we need him for? Because we get these big names. We get names that'll put butts in seats, and then
Todd
they're
Gurley.
hurt halfway through. Todd Gurley. There you go. I mean, they'll put asses in the
we
seats.
do it all the time. So my point is this. It seems like they're not doing that this time because look what we did in the draft. You go up and you get Jalen Walker, and then you come back and you mortgage next year's draft to get Pierce. To go ahead and then you get the later rounds guy. You get the safety out of Notre Dame. Xavier Hall? Is that his name?
Yeah, Xavier Hall.
Okay.
I believe that's his name.
Okay, so you get guys like this, and so now you're not banking on you're spending capital to get a young talent and multiple young talents. Like the way I look at it is 2 of these guys got to be good out of the four guys they got like out of this draft defensively. And not just the draft. They that guy Kobe Bryant, the cornerback, who was one of the highest rated cornerbacks in the draft, didn't get drafted. Falcons were the first ones to call him. And there's a lot of people saying that that's the steal of the draft, and he didn't even get picked. So by going and getting the young talent and spending next year's draft capital, like okay, like it's risky, but by hedging your bets this much on young talent. I feel so much better about that than hedging our bets on old talent like Kirk Cousins or Dwight Freeney or any of those guys that we just mentioned, Dante Fowler.
That goes back to what we were talking about earlier when, everybody was all up in arms about us releasing Grady.
Although, is Leonard Floyd going to be that guy this year?
Possibly.
Maybe, but look, you have so many young guys around him that can learn from him. It could be like a Dwight Freeney situation, whereas his physical performance wasn't great for the Falcons, but having him around Vic Beasley definitely helped take us to the Super Bowl that year.
Yeah. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like a lot of people gave us grief, and I think you and I were the only person I talked to where we were on the same page about the Grady Jarrett being released thing. And it's like, yes, Grady Jarrett may have 1 or 2 years left in the tank, But you got to think Grady Jerry's what? He's 28 or is he 30 now? And he's been playing he's been playing since
he's been playing with the Falcons for almost 10 years.
Yeah,
right?
and he's been playing since he was 6 or 7 years old. So that means that like those knees, those tendons, those elbows, everything he has that much football age on him. So once you start hitting your 30s in football, like you're old.
It's already showing on the injury report, man. I mean, like he gets injured for a couple weeks, sometimes like 6 weeks, almost every season.
Hasn't he only played 2 complete seasons?
Something like that, dude.
Yeah.
And,
out of 10
and you're just
years,
not going to get. You're not going to get the guy. I mean, he's still that guy, but like,
is he going to be? And that's what I'm saying.
On the right day, he's that guy that sacked Brady 3 times in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
On the right day. But how much are you willing to pay for gambling on when you get that right day? Is the right day when you're playing Carolina and you're already up by 3 touchdowns, and he's going off like that, or is he going to show up on the game that gets us to the playoffs,
the game that matters? And the thing is, I understand people's attachment to players, but also a lot of times in football, you got to look at it as a business. Like, what is good for my brand? What is good for my business? What gets me more wins? What puts more money? And like, cool, we can love Grady Jerry till the cows come home, and I do. But is Grady Jerry going to be the pass rusher we need him to be? You got to think about that.
I think no, dude. I think no. I think the best thing to do right now is to go cheap, or not go cheap, because again, we had to use draft capital to get back in that first round and get us another pass rusher. But you go for young talent and guys that you can sign to a good extension if they're good. And if they're not good, okay, you move on. But it's not going to kill your cap, which Grady Jarrett would do if we signed him for another 3 years, like Chicago did. I'd be happy to stay away from that. You have such a good young core. Let's keep it that way. Yeah. You have you get the guys like Jesse Bates when you can get them.
Yeah. Who's been stellar. I love that we got Jesse Bates. That wasn't one that I'm mad about, because he was insanely good in Cincinnati.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's
just as good here. He's young enough
to where we got him. He's a veteran that is absolutely worth it, and you got him, and you got him in the middle of his prime.
He was kind of like when we got Gonzalez. We got Gonzalez at the perfect time where he still had so much gas left in the tank.
He's coming off that first big contract. That's it.
Yeah.
He's not like Grady
Once
Jarrett,
that rookie
he's
deal
in the
is
twilight
done,
of his
that's when
career.
you grab him.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yep.
So you get them for the big bucks, and then they play a little bit better when you pay them the big bucks, But yeah, and that's something I've told people, ad nauseum, like, oh, we need to get them, we need to get that. They're a free agent, and like, yeah, they're a free agent for a fucking reason, dude. Like, I understand that 10 years ago you were wearing their jersey, but that was 10 fucking years ago, dude.
Right. Yeah, Dwight Howard to the Hawks.
Yeah, oh my god,
dude, I still have my Dwight Howard jersey. If I wish I had fucking thought about this, I would have worn it on this podcast.
Oh my god,
oh yeah.
When I tell people that I have my Dwight Howard Atlanta jersey because he only played here for 1 year, they're like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "Yes, I fucking do."
No, I know people who have the Carmelo Anthony Hawks jersey, and he played for us for 10 minutes. So
I was about to say yes, if you can call it playing, but yes.
Yeah, we traded for him, and then we immediately traded him away. He was an Atlanta Hawk for maybe 10 minutes. I don't even know if it was a full 10 minutes.
Well, yeah, and it was a part of the deal that we were gonna trade for him, and then we were gonna cut him. But so like he already knew it was gonna happen. They did it immediately, and then he like got on Twitter and was just like, "Yo, Atlanta Hawks, I want a jersey. Like I played for you guys."
Yeah.
And so they put on Twitter like an hour later, like, "Here you go."
Yeah, but then with that being said, with athletes aging out, every now and then you will find that unicorn. Like every now and then you will find your Tony Gonzalez, you will find your Vince Carter, where age just doesn't mean a fucking thing to them. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and look, Vince Carter's a guy that that's my Chris Collinsworth. Now here's a guy. Yeah. Vince Carter's a guy that
he
when the
eventually
Hawks
did
got
show
him,
his age, but he was great.
He did, but
clutch.
he was there because the team was fully committing to the vision of like, we got all these young guys. We got all these young picks. We're building around Trae Young, and we believe him to be like a franchise player that could be, one of the top players of his time.
But they need some guidance.
And he needs some guidance. So who better to bring in than someone like Vince Carter to show you how to do that?
Yeah, and I believe in that more than anything. Like I believe in bringing the older guys for a little bit cheaper for mentorship purposes, but don't make them your starter, and damn sure don't make the game rely on them. You know what I'm saying?
No, like Kirk Cousins. Oh well. But look, we talk about Kirk Cousins like he's old, and I think he's like a year older
40.
than me. No, he's not.
He's
not
like 40?
35 or 36.
No,
I think he's 36.
He's got to be 40.
No,
Where's
dude. Look it up.
I'll
I
look
think
it
he's
up.
36.
I'll look it up. This is just so you know, this is the first time we've ever fact checked anything on this podcast.
Well, we're talking about sports. This is when we have to do it.
Yeah, we have.
So far, I feel like everything we've
all
said
right,
has been pretty
fine.
on point.
He's 36.
All right.
Hey, there you go.
He's 36.
There we go.
Well, I mean, 36 in football is 59. So
At quarterback, not always, but yes.
No. Yeah,
Yes.
36 is 36 at quarterback.
36 is old. You're not going to find a lot of 36-year-olds.
Dude, I mean, you'll see. What Matt Bryant was like 50 when he retired as a kicker. Dude, that's the spot
He
to
was
be.
definitely into his 40s. Yeah, no, he was the shit. A fucking legend, dude.
That's the spot to
Matt
be.
Money.
I mean, you mean there's a position in football where they're not allowed to tackle me? It's a penalty if they tackle me? Dude, sign me up, bro.
Dude, did you ever see? I'm sure you've seen this. It was the Pat McAfee clip. You know, he was a kicker, and you know that. I'm just saying that for the show. But that
Punter.
Ryan Clark, punter, kicker, yes. Ryan Clark was talking about like kickers aren't real football players, and he grills him in person and was just like, okay, well, you're a defensive player. Like, how many receptions do you have in the league? How many passes have you completed in the league? How many rushing yards do you have in the league? How many tackles do you have in the league? Which, I mean, he had that, but it's like, so the punter he had to be equipped to do all of these situations, even in the NFL.
Absolutely.
You know,
and
you
Pat
got to be able
McAfee
to.
has thrown touchdowns, so
Yeah, how many touchdowns have you thrown,
Yeah.
Ryan Clark?
not
You
as
know?
many as Pat McAfee.
Absolutely not, because the number's 0.
Yeah.
You know, how many
zero,
attempts
dude.
have you even had? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the NFL.
Also, Pat McAfee is wrestling this weekend.
Yes, he is.
Oh shit!
Yes.
All right,
Yeah.
nice.
I know you haven't watched wrestling in a long time, Jeremy. Pat
Yeah.
McAfee is a professional wrestler as well as color commentator on the WWE. now.
He is pretty much the color commentator of Monday
Yeah.
Night now.
and he's
That's
the fucking
amazing.
shit, dude.
That's
He's
amazing.
the
No, I've
shit.
always loved Pat. Yeah.
Well,
He is
it's also not super recent either. It's been going on for what, like 3 years now, 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Full time, probably a little over a year.
Dude, he's in the wrestling video games. He has wrestling action figures, bro.
Yeah.
Like, what
Oh,
the
yeah.
fuck?
How did I not know this?
Yeah.
Holy
Dude, he's
shit!
huge
Yeah, I mean,
in
like
the WWE.
I really only like pay attention to Pat McAfee during football season, but that's probably
yeah.
why.
I used
Yeah.
to be
And usually only when he's talking about the
every
Falcons.
day. Yeah,
Oh,
but
nice.
he doesn't say nice things about the Falcons.
No, but
he
people usually
doesn't.
don't, man. They usually don't, and you know,
For
whenever I
good
hear that
reason.
shit, yeah, for good reason. But at the same time, it's like I'm always here defending him, and I try and
Yeah.
like be logical.
No,
But
Jeremy and I
sometimes-
are the same way. We'll defend them all season until we just can't, and then we're like, yeah, you know what, they suck.
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
You know?
Yeah, I'll come out and say it, but I always, I'll always. It's like my dad with Republicans. It's like it doesn't matter who they run. I'm going to tell you why they're the best. Like a year ago, I was telling you why Kirk Cousins was going to take us to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Whether I truly believed it or not, I would find a way to like bring my point around to say, see, and that's why. And I might even be able to convince you to go, huh, he might be right.
Yeah.
And then fast forward a year later, I'm wrong again. And we'll do it again next year.
Yeah. Hell yeah. All right. Well, before we get out of here, let's talk some more about Sunmancer. And aside from the Shadows Fall show, do you have any tours lined up or anything in the works? Are you guys writing an album or anything?
Yeah. So right now, writing the full length album, trying to get it. We were talking about like trying to keep the train rolling, keep the momentum going. So gonna try and get it out as fast as we can, without shooting ourselves in the foot this time. And then no tours booked right now. We've kind of decided for the rest of this year at least, as we kind of build and try and put the next product together, because we think the next one is going to maybe push us into the next stratosphere. We're only going to do either opening for a band that's much bigger than us or a local headliner, because those are the shows that are worth it to us. It's like we've gone around the Southeast so many times at this point, and it's always a crapshoot. Like sometimes you're going to get a great night, and there's a bunch of kids there, and it's rowdy, and it's awesome. And then you get shows where, you're the last band, and you get there's 60 kids, and by the time you go on, there's, 16.
And it's a school night.
And it's a school night or some shit like
Yeah.
that. So we're slowing down on like just playing all the time. But whenever we play in Atlanta, it's always incredible. So we're gonna keep doing that. Still not too often though. And then we're playing North Alabama at this thing called Cable Fest in August.
Hell yeah,
August
that's what's
2nd
up.
and 3rd. With our friends
getting on
Delta
some
Hate.
festivals is always a good fucking thing.
Yeah, dude. And we're playing with our friends in Delta Hate, and they've got some great momentum right now. They're killing it. And our friends in Kick Out of 2. So that's the only one that I have like for sure booked right now that we want to do.
Ian's got a pretty
rest is-
decent sized backyard if you want to play there.
Dude, so we're done with the backyard shows. If we can't have our light show and all that shit, we're not doing it anymore. It's like,
Oh man, fucking
now I do
sellouts.
love doing that. Now we did one in after we did that music video in Birmingham. I was telling you about the LCY Uncut. Tim, the guy who did the video, he was like, "Hey, I can put on a show like here outside the studio if y'all want." And it's just like behind a warehouse, and we're like, "Yeah, fuck it, let's do it," and we'll promote it a month early or whatever. And when we got there and we saw the setup, and it's like you're literally just playing under like fluorescent light outside, like under a covered patio. And we all kept looking at each other. We're like, we're never doing a fucking show like this again. We're never doing a show like this again. And then kids start showing up and like starts feeling like, oh yeah, that's right. The last couple shows, it feels like people give a fuck now. So it actually was a lot of fun and it was good to do that. But at the same time, it's like the production that we put into our show, I'd like to play at a venue that's going forward. Yeah, well, it's like where we can actually sell our full product.
Yeah,
because
I know what you mean.
If we're playing a DIY version of Sunmancer and you have 4 inputs on your PA, like we can do it and it's going to be awesome, but it's not the product that we worked on, and we're kind of underselling ourselves at that point. So this year's going to be a lot about just playing shows that feel meaningful to us, and then putting out the next record and getting ready for the next big run.
Okay, hell yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, when we post this, just let us know if you got anything going on. Unfortunately, I think this is going to come out after the Shadows Fall show.
No,
what day is it on?
It'll be all right. It's next Thursday, the 15th.
Well, maybe we'll get it. Oh, that's the day after the Insane Clown Posse show.
We're actually playing that too.
Yeah,
I forgot to
figured
mention
you were.
that. Yeah,
I figured you were. Yeah, I actually, dude, sad times for me. I'm going to miss it because I'm going to be out of town for work. So Ian and Mark are going without me, even though this is a show I bought tickets for 3 months ago that I've been talking about every day for 3 months. And I got to fucking miss it, man.
I thought when he made this call to me the other day, I honestly thought this man was going to cry on the phone with me.
No.
He's like, bro, I got some bad news.
Yeah.
But we're going to.
I thought it was like seriously bad news. And he's like, I just can't go to ICP, man. I was like, oh, okay. Like, all right.
You got to go to the gathering next time, man.
But no, dude. So Ian and I are going to do something crazy. So I get back. The latest I'll be coming back from out of town is the 23rd of this month. And then on June 10th or June 13th, which is the week after my birthday, ICP is playing a brewery in Birmingham, Alabama. So Ian and I are going to drive to Birmingham and go to that show and then drive back.
Yo, I might do that.
Jesus Christ.
That sounds like a lot of fucking fun.
Yo,
It's
hop
going to
in.
be fucking
Hop
sick.
in, dude.
But okay, so the thing is, I saw the venue.
I'm wearing
and it-
full makeup, dude.
Well, dude, I saw the venue and it's a brewery, but it also has a full stage. Like Killswitch and Fit for a King are playing this venue on their coming up tour. So I guess it's a brewery with like a
Then
big ass
it's-
stage attached to it.
Okay, well, you just said Fit for a King, Killswitch, and ICP. I imagine it's it's a nice stage.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I
that's
guess
what I
it's-
said.
Yeah.
It's called Avondale Brewery in Birmingham,
Okay,
Alabama.
I've been there.
Okay.
And the stage I saw didn't seem like it was big enough for that. I went there
Okay.
on New Year's with my wife and one of my best friends. He actually used to play in Fight Paris, which we could have talked about.
Oh yeah, it was Neil, right?
No, it was Champ Champagne.
Oh,
You
Champ,
remember him?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He lives in Birmingham now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, maybe that's the guy that's connected to me that's coming on the podcast next.
But dude, what we could do, we could get Champ to meet us at the ICP show. I'm sure he'd be down.
Dude, yes. Dude, I was just when we played in Birmingham last month, he let the whole band stay there and stayed up all night playing video games and darts and drinking beer. It was a fucking hell of a time,
And
dude.
this is another reason I got to get you back on the podcast because I didn't even touch on video games. You and I have one of the same favorite video game franchises, being Final Fantasy.
Oh God, dude, I could go on. We could
Oh,
do
I
Falcons
know.
and Final Fantasy the entire for
I know.
3 hours, dude.
I'm gonna take a nap back here.
But then I've always told you that Final Fantasy VII is probably in my top 5 video games of all fucking time. That
Sure,
game
me
was
too.
amazing. The double disc on PS1, holy shit. It was
Three
game changer.
discs, actually. 3 discs.
I only ever got the 2. Okay,
well, because
maybe.
it was only the final bosses on the third one.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
probably never got there.
Somebody
Nice.
stole your other disc, bro.
Yeah, right.
No,
Somebody
I rented it.
Somebody took your shit.
I rented it from Blockbuster and never returned it. And when I rented it from Blockbuster, it was just 2 discs.
And dude, also when you rent games like that from Blockbuster, you get to the second disc and it's fucking scratched.
Yeah, every
Oh,
time.
you can't finish it? You
Yeah,
can't finish
yeah.
it? Oh,
Every time.
God, that
Yep.
would piss me the
That happened to me
fuck
so many
off.
times.
But then, what do you think about Rockstar pushing back the GTA 6 release?
Bro,
a whole nother
whoa,
year?
whoa, whoa,
Dude,
whoa.
I mean, look, it's going to be amazing when it comes
Whoa.
out. And Rockstar's been doing nothing but putting out amazing games the last like 15 years. I just replayed Red Dead Redemption 2 and Red Dead Redemption 1 like 6 months ago, and I'm going, man, I can't wait for them to come out with a new Red Dead. But the way that these games work now, man, is it does take like 6, 7, 8 years.
Dude,
really
if there's ever a Red Dead 3, it's going to be like 10 years from now.
Yeah, no, we're going to be old as fuck.
Very much. Like, that's the funny thing. So, like, I am a diehard GTA fan. Like, GTA is my shit. Like, GTA Online, the actual games. I have bought GTA 5 on 4 different consoles. Like, I'm a GTA fucking fan, dude. And this latest trailer that came out, I was wigging out. Like, I showed my wife. I sent it to all the homies. I was like, holy shit, we're getting it. We're getting it. May 26, 2026. Yeah. We all have to wait. It's going to suck. And if I know literally everybody's like, oh my fucking God, we got to wait another year.
This game has been in development
they're gonna play
since
it for
Ray
another 10
Allen
years.
played for Miami, dude.
Holy shit.
It is literally like, it is going to change everything about video games that we.
I think so too.
I mean, in every way, shape, and form.
It already looks like it just doesn't belong with any game that's ever come out already.
I mean, look at the way Grand Theft Auto has changed gaming ever since like GTA 3.
Since
like,
GTA 3.
Dude,
yeah.
Since GTA 3, that game has
even GTA 2
changed.
with the fucking with the
overhead
one.
Yeah, the overhead one. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
exactly.
that was a lot of fun. But GTA 3, like I thought GTA 2 was cool, but GTA 3 was like
it was a game changer. It was a game changer.
I have to convince my dad to let me go get this. You know, because back then that's when they started IDing people to get specifically GTA.
For me, it was Vice City. Vice City is where I fucking dove in. That game changed everything for me.
That was a huge one too.
I was already all in when Vice City came out, and when it came out, like it was a whole weekend of just me and the buddies in the neighborhood playing that shit and listening.
I remember when GTA 4
Flock
came
of Seagulls
out.
over and over.
Yeah. When GTA 4 came out, we would just get in the car and we would put it on the Liberty City hardcore station and then just go do shit in the background, but just have this radio station playing. Because I think it was either Keith Moore. I think Keith Morris was the DJ of that station, or it might have been Harry Rollins, but I'm pretty sure it was Keith Morris.
No, I think actually Keith Morris did GTA 5.
Oh, okay.
Keith Morris, but like. I'm pretty sure he was on GTA 5's hardcore station. I think he did that. But I also think what you said too. I think like Henry Rollins was a part of it as well because I know Black Flag's on there.
I could be making this up. But.
I mean, I don't think you are when it comes to GTA 5. So
and we only look up sports stats on this podcast.
No, we're not.
I refuse to lie about sports, except for that one time where I accidentally called Anthony Davis Anthony Edwards twice.
Yes, you did.
All right, hey, dude, and nothing worse than listening to a podcast and like you hear him say it like the first, second, and third time, and you're like, motherfucker.
And the thing is, you can put context clues together and know who I'm talking about. And what got me,
everybody did.
But what got me is our producer Tyler is a diehard Timberwolves fan, and it got past him, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
Wow. Okay.
But then he went through the whole thing, produced it, and then called us and was like, "Yo, Joey fucked up his name twice."
Twice.
So now you have to bring it up every episode.
Yeah. I accidentally called Anthony Davis Anthony Edwards twice. So
I don't think we did any of that when we were talking about sports, though. I think you and I.
I learned my fucking lesson, bro.
And dude, that like however long we were talking about the Falcons went by so fast because you and I me and Joey would spend hours when we worked together, or we'd go to the bar together, and just that's all we're talking about is Atlanta sports.
Yeah. He took me to a Falcons game one time, and it was when Brady was playing for Tampa Bay. So it's one of those things.
That was the Marcus Mariota year, wasn't it?
It was the Mariota year. But, dude, the thing is...
we had a blast, though.
We did have a blast, and we actually didn't get beat that bad. And Tom Brady threw a pick six right in front of us, like right in front of the end zone we were sitting at.
Sick. Hell yeah.
That's right.
But it's one of those things, like, I love sports. I've loved sports my entire life, and I've hated Tom Brady with a passion my entire life. But then when you see that motherfucker play in real life, you're just like, whoa. Like, holy shit, I get it. Like, this is what a quarterback really is. Because, like, he gets the ball snapped to him, and before you can count to 3, the ball's out of his fucking hands. Like, he's fucking amazing. And he's not doing these
Did you ever see Peyton Manning live?
No, I never got to see Peyton.
Okay.
Who else did I see that actually really impressed? Justin Herbert. I saw the Chargers play a couple of years ago. Justin Herbert's actually a really fucking good quarterback. I think he's highly underrated.
I saw him this year. Me and Benny went, and I think at the time he'd only thrown like 2 interceptions all year or something like that.
Yeah.
And they were starting to beat us because the Falcons were falconing. It was a game that we totally could have won. And so me and Benny just like kept yelling in the crowd, and there's Chargers fans in front of us and stuff. And we're just like, wow, he's only thrown 2 interceptions all year. And like, we're just trying to jinx it, just saying it over and over and over. They keep turning around and like, will you guys fucking stop? We're like, not until he throws one.
Nah, not until he
we
throws
need
one.
it. We need it right now.
But yeah,
he's really good.
I actually don't think I've ever gone to a Falcons game where they've won. No, I've been to one Falcons game where they've won. But
we're changing that this year. I got season tickets again. So
of course you do. Fuck yeah, that's my guy.
Oh, dude, I do this to myself every year. It's self-inflicted pain, but when they win, y'all motherfuckers are gonna remember me.
When they win, it feels good.
I went to all the losing seasons.
When they win, it feels good.
Yeah.
One more thing before I let you out of here, because once again, I sent you this text message probably a couple months ago because I knew that you'd agree with me. So I need people to understand that LD50 by Mudvayne is one of the most underrated mellow albums of all time, and it's so fucking good.
I think they're doing like a big anniversary tour, aren't they?
That's what I was
getting
at.
LD50. Yeah.
That's what I was getting at. They're doing an LD50
I just saw it the other day, and I was just
tour,
like, yep.
And Corey Taylor's band, Corey Taylor's son's band, is opening for them, Vinded.
Oh, cool.
Nice. Hell yeah.
So that's the show I definitely want to go to. If I can hear them play that album all the way through live, I think
that would be fucking sick. And honestly, like as far as Mudvayne goes, like I could sit through a regular like set with them, but I would be much more excited to know that it's gonna be LD50.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I don't think I could sit through a full Mudvayne set if it wasn't just LD50.
I think they're gonna play enough LD50 that I can sit through the set. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I would hope so, man.
No shade to them, but it's just like that album was so fucking good, and everything else, like no shade to anybody that likes them or to them as a band because they kill it. But
I'll just put it to you this way: like LD50 is my style of music. The rest of their stuff isn't my style of music, and it's just
that's kind of how I feel. I feel like they were touching on themes that like guys like us would like. And
yeah, exactly.
They didn't know it at the time, and they probably didn't even notice that there was like a niche for that at the time. Mm-hmm. But that niche has become like a huge audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And imagine if they had stayed on that track their entire career after that.
Oh, dude, phenomenal.
Be fucking insane. They'd be Deftones right now.
Yeah, dude, one of the greatest bands of all time.
Yeah.
I love Deftones. Holy shit. Yeah. I'm going to Shaky Knees, and I'm going to get to see them and fucking My Chemical Romance and Blink-182 all in the same weekend.
Up. Stop it.
Damn.
And fucking, dude, it's weird because, dude.
And Bill Murray.
Dude, people who know me know how big of a deal this is for me because this is speaking my language to a T because Public Enemy and My Chemical Romance are playing on the same day as each other, and if that doesn't like that is perfect for me.
It's like your dream come true,
dude. Absolutely.
No, My Chemical Romance is definitely a band that I'd like to see. Me and the band were talking about like covers that we could do or whatever, and so I'm always trying to find like what's a good rock song where I can picture like
dude. Give them Hell Kid by My Chemical Romance, dude.
Yeah,
that would be so much fucking fun.
Or like Helena or something like just something that like as soon as it starts, like everybody knows every word.
Yeah,
and then all we got to do is make it heavy.
Exactly, which shouldn't be hard. I mean, Helena as a heavy song would be fucking amazing, dude.
Yeah, it's like any like rockin' band, you can make it metal.
Absolutely. Kind of like when Vanilla Ice redid Ice Ice Baby and made it a new metal song.
He sure did.
Crazy.
He sure did.
That's a stretch there, dude.
Wow, that was really good.
Big stretch, dude.
Guys, I got to go because I'm going to go listen to that song. My wife listened to it 10 times over.
Man. Well, let's go ahead and get out of here. But yeah, if there's anything you want to plug now, we'll make sure to add everything into our Instagram post and let you know when it's coming out. But for now, if you want to leave everybody with anything.
Yeah, sure. So check out Sunmancer, new video for Guardian, LCY Uncut on YouTube, as well as Spotify. You can listen to our new EP, Everything It Falls Apart. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. Instagram, YouTube is what we really want you to follow us on, so go there.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, thank you, Jeremy. See you soon, brother.
All right, brother.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Well, that's the show. We got to learn a lot of things, Thanks to Jeremy for coming and talking to us. Thanks you for going to see ICP for me and keeping me informed. So I'm really looking forward to Alabama. But one thing I'm really looking forward to when we get off of here, the first thing I did when I got back in town from Asheville is I went and I got the new Doom game, Doom Dark Ages. So as soon as we get done here, I'm going to go play that. So let's hit the outro, Ian.
All right, everybody. Thank you again for watching us. Thank you for listening to us. Whether you're streaming us on a streaming platform or you're watching us on YouTube. If you want to find us on YouTube, if you're just now discovering us, it's This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. Again, that's This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. You can find us on Instagram at TTATO Podcast ATL. Again, that's TTATO Podcast ATL. If you search us on streaming platforms, whether you're on Apple, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on iHeartMusic, whatever you're on, thank you for listening. Again, that is This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. Again, This, That, and the Other with Joey and Ian. Thank you again, everybody, for so much for listening. Please tune in to the next episode, and we love you guys. Have a good one.
All right, let's get out of here. See ya.